everybody, this is Beth McCullough. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Iowa in the United States, and I'm here every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. with my sweet husband, Steve.
Hi, everybody.
So tonight, it's actually a sad day this week. A lot of you know our dear friend Marceline. We called her Marvelous Marceline, and for years we showed her cards on my blog every Monday, and it was called Marceline Monday. She passed away last week, and she had thyroid cancer and had complications from surgery, and we are all going to miss her dearly. Well, her sons brought over all her stamping equipment last night, so my dining room is full of Marceline's things. And I wanted to show you a couple things. She made this. She had shown me these years ago, but I had forgotten about them. She made these cards. Do you see the intricate stitching? It's like hand sewing on cards. Do any of you do that?
It's like needlepoint?
Yeah, needlepoint on cards. But they're beautiful. She was doing this before she met me, before she started doing Stampin' Up. But they're really pretty. Marceline was a crafter, not just of cards and embroidery cards and Stampin' Up! Cards, but wreaths and samplers and quilting, and it's amazing.
It was amazing.
Everything.
At her funeral, we got to see a lot of things that she made, and I can't believe the variety and of the things and how talented she was.
Yeah, we are truly going to miss her. Look at this. Here's some bumblebees. Will you be my Valentine? But she made some beautiful things. And I thought, as a tribute to my dear friend, who I love dearly, in the boxes of stamping supplies, another thing that was in there was different samples of things she made. And this is a current set. In fact, it's on sale right now. And it's a card holder. So with the ribbon, you open it up, and there's room inside to put, typically, depending on how many layers, you have 4 cards and 4 envelopes. And Marceline has lots of these. Here's another one. They're fun because you can decorate them however you want. And I'm going to make one for some cards I made for you guys several weeks ago. These pretty embossed cards that I made with the Sentimental Swirls, with this stamp set and this punch. And then I'm going to make a card holder for that. But if you're on tonight and you met Marceline or knew Marceline or liked her projects, it'd be sweet if you wanted to write something in the comments, and I will pass that along to her sons. And who's on tonight, Steve?
Oh, we've got lots of people on. Debbie Spicer just told us that it's really sad to lose someone.
It is. You know, she's my first team member ever to pass away, and she was so much more of a team member. I talked to her almost every day. She was at my house. How often do you think? Before COVID?
All the time.
3 or 4 times a week.
Because I always got to talk to Marceline, too. Yeah. Marceline was an avid Iowa Hawkeye and Chicago Cubs fan.
And guess what? Steve is an avid Hawkeye and Chicago Cubs.
Right?
So they were meant for each other. He did admit, though, when she first started coming over, and I think it was maybe 8 years ago, he would be like, "Oh, this lady I don't know is interrupting my work." But
then she would go off on whatever the Hawkeyes did well or the play they messed up, and she was so brilliant about it that I immediately got sucked in.
She's like a guy. She knows what she's talking about.
And not only that, I didn't have anyone to complain about when that happened, and now I did. So it was wonderful talking to her.
Even at her funeral, they made us laugh. She had a Hawkeye jacket she made out of like what you make tie blankets out of. And it had the Hawkeye emblems on it. And they had that at her funeral and said, really, the pastor should have had on a Hawkeye warm-up suit.
He should have.
And she did write a statement of faith. It was beautiful. Mm-hmm. I brought it home. And what are we going to do now, Steve?
We're going to write statements of faith.
We're going to write statements of faith to put in the bulletin at our funeral.
Because she had messages for her kids and her grandkids.
What she believed, the scripture to back up
her hopes and dreams for them.
Yeah. It was It was powerful. Even the pastor said, I know you already read that as you were sitting here waiting for the funeral to start, but I'm going to read it again.
Yeah.
And we showed it to my parents last night, said, Chip, Chip, you need to write a statement of faith.
Write something like this. It's awesome.
Yeah. It was, her funeral definitely pointed people to Christ and celebrated her life. And it was amazing. But if you have anything you want to put in the comments, or if you want to email me at Beth@stampinmom.com.
Are talking about their interactions with her online right now.
Yeah, so. She was very sweet. The most intricate, I can't say the word intricate projects that have ever been on my blog. Sometimes I'd say, Marceline, just come over and show them how to do it on the video. But, and then when people would write to me and say, how do you do that? I'm just like, here's Marceline's email. Just ask her. So there was a couple projects. She got dozens of people writing to her. And I thought, oh, I hope she isn't going to mind. She loved it. She's like, I am interacting with people all over the world. And in fact, some people reached out to me from New Zealand and Australia with sympathy for Marceline and to pass on to her family. And her son said, someone in New Zealand.
Oh, they were amazed that there were people all over the world that knew their mom.
Yeah.
So Phyllis Rourke just pointed out that she and Marceline started making cards together. Phyllis taught her Stampin' Up, and Marceline taught her stitched cards. Well, so they swapped. Phyllis, and so the cards you were showing just a few minutes ago, those are probably ones that Phyllis helped her learn how to do.
Did you see the stitched cards? Where did I put them?
They're right there.
I don't know if you were on already, Phyllis, but I was showing some of Marceline's stitched cards. But also, if you're a stamper, the family would like me to sell her supplies, and so we're selling almost everything at half the catalog price, and that would help them and hopefully bless you. So reach out to me. We're going to have an in-person sale first, and then I'll be listing it on Facebook pages. Or if there's specific things you want, she did have a lot of bundles, let me know. And I will, Angie and Barb are coming over Friday, and we're going to try to set up a system and price things. So anyway, but yes, I met Phyllis through Marceline. I met a lot of people through Marceline. Half my team came from Marceline. So there's a sale. I don't think you have a banner for this yet, Steve, but starting today, they have the savings are in bloom, and it's for the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Instead of $60, it's $48. And then they picked out several sets out of the annual catalog that are all 20% off. And I have samples I'll be showing on my blog from almost all these sets. There are some of my very favorite bundles on here. So take a look at that if you haven't. If you are a demo, you get your demo discount and the 20% both. So it really is a great deal. So that is for the full month of March. We have a new host code starting today.
That's right down in the lower right-hand corner of your screen.
And I don't know if you have a banner about I'm still selling my April stamp camp. And is there a banner for that, Steve?
Well, let's see.
Maybe not. Oh, no, there it is. This one. Symbols of Fortune Stamp Camp. If you purchase that bundle from me, when it comes back in stock, you get Stamp Camp, directions, a whole weekend of fun, and card kits mailed to you. So that is a great deal. And catalogs. If you still need a catalog and you don't have a demo, let me know. Always email me at Beth@stampinmom.com. I get so many emails for some reason. A lot go in the spam drain. If you email me, someone did this for a prize a couple weeks ago. If you email me and I don't answer you, it's because I didn't get it. And Steve is trying to get me to look in my spam folder every day. And I'm trying, but I'm not in the habit yet. So if I email you, if you email me and I don't answer you, please reach out again or message me on Facebook, because I promise I won't ignore you if I actually get your email. So we're making this tonight.
What are we making again?
We're making card holders. This is for full-size cards and actually putting note card sides. We could make them a little smaller, but why? But Marceline had a ton of these, and I just thought My Joy team made them 4 or 5 weeks ago because Brooke made them. Marcelin's friend Brooke showed us how to do them. And as Brooke was showing us, Marcelin said, Brooke, I taught you that like 20 years ago. Of course, it all comes around. But Marcelin made these two. Isn't this pretty? And this is one of the sets that's on sale for 20% off right now. So Marcelin made both of these.
For sure.
So I did write up a template. And to make this card holder, you just need a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. And I'll put the template right here. I will take a picture and put it on my blog. It might not be there tomorrow though, but I'll try to have it up there on Thursday. And I'm just going to use my trimmer to do the scoring for this. So 8.5 by 11, pick the piece of cardstock you want. And then the first thing we're going to do is, this is the bottom right here. Okay. So I'm going to score it at 2 1/4 and 2 1/2 along this long edge.
While you're doing that, we're doing Prize Patrol tonight?
Yes, we are doing Prize Patrol. I meant to tell you, last week we didn't do Prize Patrol. We actually recorded the video early. Steve and I and our 2 older sons and their fiance and serious girlfriend, we were skiing in Colorado last week. And we didn't think we would be off the slopes because the time change is different. And so we recorded the video before we went. And that is why we couldn't have Prize Patrol. There is Prize Patrol now, so please sign up. Hashtag Prize Patrol in the comments. And we did get on, we got off the slopes in time to answer your questions and write comments. So could you tell we were here?
Well, we were a lot more chatty in the comments.
We were more chatty in the comments because I was on a computer and Steve was on a computer. And we had a wonderful week. We love the girls that love our boys. And we played lots of hearts. And
I can't tell you what a blessing it was. It was so wonderful. And it was such a wonderful time.
It was
just to get to know these young ladies.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
truly a blessing.
It was fun.
And we also taught our oldest son's fiance how to ski. She had never skied before. And that was awesome too. She was amazing. Steve taught her in the morning and she's tiny. He could pick her up if she fell. I worked with her in the afternoon and ended up taking her all the way down the mountain. We've never had anyone on their first day of skiing go all the way down the mountain. And there were some scary times. And I wish Steve was there to pick her up a couple times because that wasn't I'm not strong enough, but even though she's tiny. But the second day, unfortunately, Steve and I were going to ski together in the morning and then work with the girls. And do I blame you or do I take responsibility?
I wasn't anywhere near you. I didn't push you. I didn't tell you where to turn.
So I had complained I had trouble turning the first day. So Steve's like, let's upgrade our rental skis. It's $10 or $20 more. I got new skis, totally cold, didn't warm up. I'm at the top of the hill the second day, the first run. And he wanted to go down a blue run, which I'm fine with. I skied blue runs the day before, but it had snowed and the powder was really deep above my knees. How deep do you think it was?
In spots, it was a good 1.5 feet.
So it was a harder slope, lots of snow, skis I had never skied on. I have lots of excuses, don't I?
I was going to say. And the sun was in her eyes.
And he pushed me.
And the wind was blowing 200 miles an hour. And then she fell.
And then I fell. And so I've been to 2 orthopedic surgeons, one in Colorado and one in Des Moines. And the one in Des Moines yesterday was like, now explain exactly what happened. And I'm like, I started down the hill and then I was up in the air. I heard a popping sound and then I fell. And then I was able after a while to sit up. Steve, I could see way down the mountain and I was like, am I leaving in a sled behind ski patrol or am I going to stand up? So I tried to stand up and at first I couldn't. Did you see when I tried to stand up?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I couldn't
Usually
stand
she
up.
just pops right up.
I don't usually fall, honey. How do I pop up?
A few times you've fallen, you popped right back up.
I haven't fallen in like 5 years.
But I was with you at the time.
Anyway, you weren't with me. You were down the mountain. So I did ski the rest of the day because I didn't teach Amy. I was just with Amy because she knew what she was doing on the second day. So it was easier.
So she skied the entire rest of the day. And then I took her to the doctor the next morning who said, I think you tore your ACL.
And your LCL.
And it's just a tribute to her pain tolerance that she could be able to ski the entire rest of the day.
However, the doctor in Des Moines, I'm walking better all the time. I was on crutches and in a brace. Sorry to go on and on about this, but I never fall down or get hurt. And so I'm just
So the
shocked.
doctor in Des Moines is saying, well, maybe it's not torn. Yeah. She's got the MRI, which will be decisive.
Yeah.
And that's going to be later this week. So
yeah.
Update later this week. Let's make a card.
Let's make a card. Should I stop talking now? Is anyone talking about anything I need to know about?
Everybody's signing up for Prize Patrol now.
Okay. So we have the short side of the paper at the top, and the left edge is at 2 1/4, and we're going to score it. And then we're going to move the left edge over to 2 1/2, and we're going to score it again. So I did this score and this score. Now I'm going to turn it so the long side is at the top, and I'm going to score it at 3/4 of an inch on this side. And now before I move it out of the way, I'm going to hold my paper so it stays in the same place, almost in the same place. And I'm going to bring the cutting blade up and set it down at 3 inches. Now what we're doing here is we're making a slit for the ribbon to come out. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but what I did is I put the cutting blade at 3 and I cut up to about 2 3/4 and down to 3 1/4. So I'm making about a 1/2 inch slit. And I know all of you know this, but this is just a 1/4 inch by 11 inch strip of yellow paper. I put 3 glue dots on and I adhered it inside my ruler, and it makes it easier when you're doing things like that. The other thing we're going to do is move the left edge to a 1/2 inch, and down here at the bottom, there's this extra score line. And you're cutting out that section, so it doesn't matter which line you go up to, but you need the 1/2 inch and the 3/4 just on this bottom part. But don't do it with your cutting blade. Let's use your scoring blade.
That's something I would do.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't do it. I just almost did it. Now you're going to pick up your cardstock and do the exact same thing on the other side. I still have the long side at the top. I'm going to put the left edge at 3/4 of an inch. And if you want to, get out a piece of white cardstock and make a template like this. And then you can make these cute little card holders, my tribute to Marceline, whenever you want. So the left edge is at 3/4 and we're scoring the entire length. And then I'm going to hold it and get the cutting blade up here. And again, set it down at 3 inches. And I'm going to cut up to 2 3/4 and down to 3 1/4. So I'm making that 1/2 inch slit. If your ribbon is thinner or wider, make it thinner or wider. And then I'm going to put the cutting blade away, bring it back to a 1/2 inch. And at this bottom double line, I'm going to go from here to the bottom at a 1/2 inch. Okay, now we have the 2 sides. All we have left is the middle. So take the left edge and put it at 5 1/4. And we're going to score the whole length. And then move it over to 5 3/4. And we're going to score the whole length again. And that is it. So we have it scored exactly like you can see it. Do you think they can see it? When I look over there, the screen looks black.
I'm sure they can see it.
You're sure?
Yep.
I hope so.
I was just trying to readjust my camera while you were finishing that up.
Okay.
So I didn't get to put any scrolling measurements or anything this time because we didn't have those ready, but she's going to put the template on her.
Today is Tuesday, and I promise, Steve, hold me to this.
Okay.
There's going to be a blog post Thursday morning, and it's going to have a picture of the project, a picture of the template, and all the directions.
And so you can rewatch the video, and
you can pause it,
and you can also then look at the template, and all the measurements will be there.
Or if you can wait until Thursday morning at 6 a.m. Central, it'll be on there. Okay, so you can also use your bone folder and do all the measurements. And if you see on here, I cut out this little slit between the 2 1/4 and 2 1/2 and 2 score lines in. We're doing that on both sides and then also on the bottom. Here, I'll show you on this one that I have partially done. We have out these 2 side pieces and this bottom piece. This comes up here for the cards and envelopes, and it folds like this. So I'm going to fold these pieces back and get this little piece out. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. That tiny little piece. And I'm also going to cut up the middle up 2 score lines. Now, while I am doing that, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Do you have any ski questions for Steve?
Ski questions.
Do you have any fun things you've been doing you want to tell everyone about?
I bet people have been making cards.
I bet they have too. You know, it was beautiful in Iowa yesterday and today. It feels like spring now, doesn't it?
Yes, and the birds are singing, and it smells like spring.
Which is lovely. It was a cold winter. I'm going to come over here and cut out this little part, just like I did on the other side. Do you have any comments that you want to talk about on there, Steve?
Well, I was just going to amplify the fact that while we were teaching Amy to ski, what I did was when we first started, we were teaching her how to make a pizza and snowplow with her skis. But I was going down the hill backwards, and I had my skis the other way. So I had my skis in a reverse pizza.
Are you showing off that you can ski down the hill backwards?
No, that's not the point. The point is I did that so I could catch her. Because people that first learn how to ski, they always get out of control a few times before they learn how to edge on their skis. And sure enough, she did that. And she got scared, but she skied right into me. And then she grabbed me and gave me a great big bear hug. And so, you know, there were benefits of teaching her how to ski because I got extra hugs.
So Amy is very comfortable around Steve and I now, and we are very comfortable with her, which is awesome. So the moral of the story is if you want to get to know your new son or daughter-in-law easily, teach them how
skiing.
to ski. Yeah.
Or some other thing like that you're teaching them how to do, because it's a great bonding experience.
Although a lot of people watching have grandchildren, so they should be giving us advice because this is our first child getting married. I did learn one thing on this trip. I asked Ryan, our second son, go ask the kids if they want this or this for dinner, because we had different options of what I was making and then what the young adult couples were making. And Ryan said, there are no kids here. And I'm like, but you're my kids.
You're our offspring, and we've called you kids your entire lives, but you know,
they're no longer kids.
They're young adults, and so then we're like, what do we call them? That was actually kind of fun. The rest of the time I kept making up things to call them. So I called them Prodigy.
and then there was also, I've always called
Millennials,
Steve Dad,
young adults,
so that my kids would call him Dad instead of call him Steve. But then Amy and Bree don't want to call him Dad because they have a dad, right? And so that was funny too, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
Okay, you guys see on the template these hash marks. These 3 places are the only thing that I've cut out. And I have also burnished all my score lines. Now I'm going to get out my tear and tape. And my tear and tape is shown in pink on this template. So we're going to go all the way down here with the tear and tape. Same thing on the other side. And then in here, we're going right next to the first score line with the tear and tape on both sides. Okay. So while I'm putting tear and tape on, you have time to chat, honey.
I get to tell another story?
You do. Do you have any more stories?
Well, other than my miraculous wife, who obviously has an amazing pain threshold, I've never heard of anyone
either that or I'm really not hurt. I think
tearing
I'm
their
faking
ACL and then skiing the rest of the day. Although I also have a bum knee and I skied as well. So apparently we must really like to ski because we're willing to endure the pain to do it.
So when we went to the doctor and found out I was really hurt, I'm like, okay, Steve went skiing the next day on Thursday. And I said, honey, we've always taken turns. In the last couple of years, you've had 2 heart surgeries,
2 knee surgeries.
I've had nothing.
So it's my turn now.
I said
you work on tearing type.
Sorry.
I'll finish the story. So basically, I was told on no uncertain terms that I needed to be able to help her. And the reason that was important is because I was skiing again the next day. It was my last day of skiing. I really hadn't gotten to ski very challenging slopes like I like to because I was teaching people how to ski.
But you were fine with that.
She knew I was likely to want to take a few runs where I could cut it loose.
Yeah.
But that sounded like a horrible idea because someone had to be able to drive home.
Yeah.
Right? And if Beth wasn't able to drive home and then I messed up my knee the next day, we would have had to recruit one of the young adults.
Yes.
To take us home.
There wouldn't be any kids driving us home.
No kids.
Just young adults.
See how I caught myself just now?
And 2 of the young adults flew back to Texas, so they weren't driving us home. They could have driven us to Denver to the airport.
Yeah. But luckily, I managed to not hurt myself last day skiing. And I did get to take some challenging runs, though. So, and that was at Beaver Creek. And that was the first time we'd been at Beaver Creek. Wonderful resort. We're talking about going back there next year.
Okay, I need to tell you this again. On each side, I used about 8 inches of ribbon. And on the good side, I'm just taking the ribbon. Do you think it goes through on camera, Steve? Taking the ribbon and poking it through my little slit.
Yeah, you can see it. So,
and then I'm taking the tape and I'm just going to tape it down inside here so it's secure. And then I'm going to take my tear and tape off of this side and I'm going to fold this over. Like that. And then the ribbon's loose and looks nice.
That's nice.
Now I will do the same thing on the other side.
So Courtney just said that she had a friend who broke his collarbone and then proceeded to ski 3 more runs to make his way across the resort to get back to the condo. That's another very tough individual to be able to do that. But the thing is, there's this real stigma of riding down on the sled with ski patrol. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to be that person.
Steve, I ran the big 7-mile race on a really hot day one July summer. And I got, what did I get? I got like heat exhaustion kind of. I was overheated. And they had ambulances all over. And they tried to put me in an ambulance. And I was like, no, sorry.
She wasn't going to be one of those people that ended up in an ambulance.
Although I did meet a nice man in the orthopedics office the next day. And he had ridden down the hill in a ski patrol sled.
Yeah. And then they put this great big brace on his leg. He didn't have any shoes, right? Because they took him straight from the slope. All he had was ski boots. He couldn't put his ski boots back on. So, I mean, there was just like no way for him to get home at that point. He had to have somebody come get him.
And I wondered, why didn't we offer him a ride home?
Well, that would have been the nice Iowan thing to do. I probably because I was too intimidated. I had to make sure to get you to the car, and
you weren't ready to take on another patient.
It was one injured person too far for me. It flew through my injured person capacity.
I did think about that later. He was waiting. He was kind of like me because he's like, I didn't want to make my friend stop skiing, so I'm sitting here in the doctor's office. But anyway. So I have the ribbon through again. I've taped it down and I'm putting this tear and tape over the top. I might have to fold this back a little bit because we don't want it to stick out. Oh, it's trying to stick out, Steve.
No, you got it. You showed it who's boss.
Okay. So here, we're like this now. Ribbons on the side. Have you guys made this before? I hope it's something new for you. And now there's just a couple easy things left to do. On this, I think it looks nicer if you use the detailed trio punch, the corner round punch. Do you remember this punch, Steve? You were so amazed. How did I know where to put it? I just put it in all the way.
Because it's got guides on the side. I didn't know that. I thought she was just really, really good.
Yeah. Sometimes it's easy to impress you. But, you know.
I don't know how to use hardly any of the Stampin' Up equipment, okay? And I didn't realize that they'd made it in such a way that it was intuitive.
Stampin' Up makes a lot of the stuff so it's foolproof. Now, on the sides here, we're going to make a 90-degree corner like this. So we have this. The tear and tape is on the edge. And it's just making it so you have more room for cards. If you're really generous and you want to give out more than 4 cards in envelopes, you could rejigger this and make it bigger so there's a thicker width there. But 4 cards is a nice amount for a hostess gift or a birthday gift. So
Wendy Morell said her mom had an accident on the ski lift, and they had to stop the lift, and the nearest ski patrol person was behind her and couldn't get down off the lift to help her.
Oh no.
So, yeah, that's another thing nobody ever wants to do while skiing. If you're going to fall, you don't want to do it in view of the lift, because people will normally rate you on how well you fell.
You rate people, Steve McCullough?
I don't. I just look to make sure they're okay, because I'm a very compassionate, nice Iowan. Other people hoot and holler and, give you a number for,
Have people done that when you've fallen?
Yes.
Okay.
I have had people do that before.
Okay, so does it show that I'm not that good of a skier?
That you don't know this happens.
Because I never fall. So no one's ever yelled at me from the ski lift.
Well, it's just kind of jeering or, ribbing. That was a nice one. I'll give you a 10 for that one.
So I took the tear and tape off. Wendy, I'm glad you're on tonight. I haven't seen you lately. You'll have to come over and see if you want any of
Marcelin's
treasures that we're selling for her family. Okay, so I'm going to stick my fingers in and really get that tear and tape to go down nicely. Okay, and you could do this beforehand, but I didn't think of this until just now. But I have a sheet of cardstock that I'm going to put on the front. And it is 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. And it probably would have been easier to glue it on ahead of time. I think I told you in the beginning, I use the Sentimental Swirls. It's in the January to June mini catalog. And then it coordinates with the Flowers and Leaves punch that's in the annual catalog. So I use my Versamark and my silver embossed powder and put the swirl on here. I love these swirls.
It's fancy.
Yeah. It is fancy. And then I'm just going to use glue and attach it to the front. Like I said, you could have attached that before. And I have the same amount of border all the way around. And then what I did, let me tell you about the ribbon. This is Gorgeous Grape ribbon. Really pretty ribbon. The cardstock is Highland Heather. So on these flowers, I stamped them using the Sentimental Swirls with Gorgeous Grape, and then I did the silver embossing rims. Does that catch the light in the camera?
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, it's pretty, I think. So I put mini glue dots on here, and I'm just going to decorate the front of the card. I thought you could put a For You on here too. but I didn't have one handy. Oh, look, there's a for you right here. That's funny. I didn't notice it. My cards are happy birthday, thank you, and hello. And here's the for you that you need to put right down here in the corner. Just imagine it there.
Getting some positive reinforcement for your flowers and your swirl.
Oh, you guys like it?
Yep. Carol Schaefer just got on from Connecticut, but she's got a very good reason. She was playing with her grandson who was there visiting.
That is wonderful, Carol.
Doesn't that sound like a
one day? I almost don't know anyone without grandchildren anymore. And one day, if we're ever going to be grandchildren, you guys are going to be the first to hear about it.
Yeah. Yeah. This video will be 2 hours long.
Yeah.
It's already an hour.
So
almost. It's 40 minutes long so far.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll hurry up. Our dear friend Janine is watching her grandkids Saturday night, all day Saturday into Sunday, overnight. And Steve and I, on our way home a little bit ago, I'm like, do you think we could go over and play with her grandkids with her? So
yeah, they're wonderful kids. That would be fun.
Where should I put the last one, Steve?
Definitely over there. Yeah.
Attached?
Sure.
Some of them are attached. Some of them aren't. Now I think I put the for you over here. There's a blank space. And then I made these earlier. I really like when... What are you laughing at?
Carol corrected me. Said, well, my grandson's 13, so I was visiting with him, but I wouldn't say I was playing with him. Good point.
So on these, on the thank you, I did 3 flowers. On the happy birthday, I did 1 flower with a rhinestone on it. And on this, I did 2.
Can't see that one at all. Huh?
But if you notice, I did the swirls in all different directions. I mean, it's just a fun set to stamp with. And then all of these are done with Highland Heather, but on the front of the card, they're done with Gorgeous Grape. And then I made the envelopes match. So I think what I would do is put the envelopes over here and put them so the pretty flower is showing. And then maybe put the hello on top. But these will fit the note cards or the regular A2 size cards. So I'm just going to fold it shut and tie it in a bow.
So I have a question for you. When we looked at Marcelin's, the one that she made.
Yes.
She also had, on one of them, I thought there was a little slit on the inside. Maybe not. But you could, if you wanted to also give them a pen, you could put a slit that would hold the pen.
Yeah, a lot of times, if you slit this spine, actually, I might have one down here. Let me look quick. Yeah. Do you remember these? This is what you're thinking of, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
I made these cute little penguin notebooks. These are on YouTube. You can go back and look at that video, and you can make the little spine like that. So we could have done that. I wonder if we would run out of cardstock, though.
You would, because you started with a full
but
sheet.
you could put.
But you could just do a.
You could put a fancy pen on there. But yeah, these are cute, aren't they? I love these little penguin note cards, and they match. Steve's like, wait a minute, you're going off topic. It's your fault though, honey, because you got me started on that. Okay, so here is the note cards folders. Here is the sunflower one. Like I said, this set is on sale. Do you want to know how much it is? In my flyer, the sunflower bundle is $45.50. It's normally $57. So that is a great deal. So these 2 are Marcelin's. Here is mine. Please give me a thumbs up or a heart if you like it. It's great if you would share the video. And I will put this in a blog post Thursday morning with the template. So Prize Patrol, yay! Prize Patrol is back.
Prize Patrol. Input hashtag Prize Patrol in the comments if you'd like to be entered. And what could they win, Beth?
What can they win? Well, it's kind of hard to send the note card holder. What if we have your choice of a note card, or the second thing will be a tutorial bundle of your choice. And I have a new fancy fold one that you might really like. So let's draw first for choice of a note card.
Okay, let me screen share here so people can see as we do it.
And if you don't, okay, you can have a note card or you can have a template on how to make it. Either one.
Okay, here we go.
I really appreciate you guys watching.
We
It's
are
truly
drawing.
a blessing to us. See the names going?
Yeah, we got
I can
lots
see
of
it over
people.
here too. And it's a new month, so anybody can win.
Winnie Curtis.
Yay! So Winnie, let me know which note card you want, or if you want a template of how to make it. So
How to make the card holder.
how to make the card holder. And then we need to draw again for a tutorial bundle winner.
Here we go. And the winner is
Barb Kingsley. Yay! Barb K and Winnie won the first one. Well, I hope you all have a blessed week. Email me at beth@stampingmom.com if you have any questions. Look for this on Thursday. Please come back. Please share this with your friends and have a blessed week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.